Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. Hopefully you guys are having a lovely evening. Yes, I am on later because this one I actually had a moment, and this is definitely going to be a fun episode tonight because you're going to see how Audrey is working herself to death on 2 hours of sleep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So what we're going to do today, I noticed that a lot of my high school students are coming to me with factoring. So if you are also taking the GED, also the ASVAB and the AccuPlacer test, you're going to see factoring. GED, you're going to see it as one of your 4-point questions, which we don't want to miss on. ASVAB, you're going to see it, especially when you're in your high 50s, possibly low 60s. If you want to get into that, I want you to get that score up. So I'd rather you've seen this before than have never seen it at all. So what we're going to take a look as you guys are coming in. Got a couple notes here for you. Hopefully, if you want to take snapshots, you can. So we definitely want to understand with one, what is standard form? So standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. So we have the coefficient of the x squared is the a, the coefficient of the x is the b, and the coefficient, well, there's no coefficient, the constant is your c. So it's going to be important to know which is which, because that's going to help us do the factoring if our a is equal to 1 versus when our a is not equal to 1. And one of my students actually showed me a cool, quick way, which most of you guys are probably like, yeah, that's old hat. Well, when a person's always learning, I like to share the information. So when you're doing factoring, here's a couple things that you have to know. One, do you have a GCF? Anytime they ask you to do any kind of factoring, you need to check to see if you have a GCF. If you do, factor that bad boy out. And then anything left inside the parenthesis, see if that can be factored down. That's what they're talking about when they say factor completely. So if your leading coefficient, your a, is 1, what you're going to do is you're going to split your variables up. We're going to still do our cross when we multiply our a and our c, and we rewrite our b. And then you're going to place your factors that you found in these blank spaces inside the parentheses with the variables. I'm going to show you with examples exactly what I mean. So as you guys are coming in, thank you so much for sharing the live, and thank you so much, Satan. I appreciate you. All right. Thanks for checking in. I never thought I'd be thanking Satan, but here we are. Feeling the heat back in Baltimore. Okay. So I'm going to show you step by step how to do this. This is going to be something that you are going to see in your GED. It's one of those 4-point questions. You cannot, and I do repeat, cannot just let it just go off in the distance. No, we have to hit those 4-point questions. Also, you're going to see it in ASVAB. And if you have a student that's taking Algebra 1 and also Algebra 2, maybe even college algebra, because I do have a couple people that were doing that, this is the live for you. All right, so let's start when our a value is equal to 1. So let's say we have x squared minus x squared plus x minus 30. I feel like I don't know how to write anymore. All right, so we have x squared plus x minus 30. So when I go over here, I'm saying, what is my a? What is my b? What is my c? So my a is the coefficient of the x squared. Remember what we said over here. My a is in front of the x squared. If we don't see anything, we assume that it's a 1. My b is the coefficient of the x, and it's a positive 1. If you don't see anything, it's assumed to be a 1 there. And my constant is a negative 30. So when I do my cross, we always multiply our A and our C. And we all know that 1 times anything is going to be itself. So 1 times negative 30 will be negative 30, and we're going to put that in this spot. Down here, we're going to place our B, and our B is 1. Okay. All right. So now we need to figure out what two numbers multiplied together will give me negative 30 and add together will give me a 1. So you have to think of what are multiples of negative 30. So, well, we know that we got 1 times 30 will give me 30. We know 2 times 15. We know 3 times 10. We know 5 times 6. So of these, which one, if one of them are negative, will work for us? Okay. So if I do 1 times 30, I'm trying to get a goal. What two numbers multiplied together will give me negative 30 and add together to give me 1? Okay, JJ is saying negative 5 and 6. Purple Squirrel is saying 6 and negative 5. Okay. Basically the same. Hey, Buttercups, how are you? Good evening. Okay, Flo, you're in college algebra. Let's go. All right. All right. We're not really distributing. We are factoring. We are factoring. Okay, so Big L saying negative 5 and positive 6. Okay. Now, if you're not sure, that's what you're here for. Put question marks in, okay? Because we really need to get this down. I want you to get this as best you can. Okay, Roberto is saying negative 5 and 6. All right, let's take a look. So if I use negative 5 and positive 6, negative 5 times 6 gives me negative 30. And negative 5 plus 6 will give me a positive 1. If I have $6, I spent $5, I still have $1 left. So these two are going to be my factors. So your next step, since our leading coefficient is 1, we're going to set up 2 parentheses. We're going to split the variable. So we got x here and an x here. And the two numbers that we discovered, the two factors, we're going to split them up into the parentheses. So this is going to be our negative 5. And this is our plus 6. This is factored. Now, if you wrote x plus 6 and then x minus 5, that's fine. Because remember, multiplication is commutative. So you're going to get the same results regardless if the plus 6 is in this parenthesis and the minus 5 is inside that parenthesis. Okay? Okay. Hey, Bobby. All right. Okay. But if I use negative 6, JJ, that means I'm looking at a negative 1. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a positive 1. So your first answer was correct. All right. No, it's a minus 30. All right. So let's take a look at another one. I'm going to switch colors here. Let me slide it over to here. So if we have x squared, let's go with this one. X squared minus 9x plus 8. Try to make it a little bit smaller so you can see the other one I use as an example. Okay. No, we're not finding zeros. Oh, that's what you were doing? You were finding zeros? Oh, okay. Yeah, we're not finding zeros. We're just simplifying because they're not even being equals. All right. So in this case, we're figuring in our A, our B, and our C. So my A is the coefficient of x squared, so that gives me 1. The B is the coefficient of the x, so that gives me -9. And my C is my constant, which is 8. So as we go, I set up my cross. My AC, the answer is going to go inside this space. I'm going to rewrite my B, and the answer goes inside of this space. So all I have to do is multiply 1 times 8. That gives me 8. And I rewrite my B, which is -9. So now I need to think. What two numbers multiplied together will give me 8 and add together to give me -9? So multiply to give me that and add to give me this. Okay. So -8, -1, -8. We got 1 and 9. -1, -8 with Abby. Thanks for the follow. Okay, Big Al, switch it to -1 and -8. Let me see if I skip some. And I know JJ said it earlier. Had -1 and 9. Okay, Abby had -1 and -8. Okay. So if we think about it, two numbers multiplied to give me 8, 1 and 8, but add together to give me a -9. If I just keep it as 1 times 8, that's going to give me a positive 8 when I multiply, but if I do 1 plus 8, that will give me a positive 9. I want a -9. So that means I need to make both of them negative. So a negative times a negative gives me a positive. A negative plus a negative will keep it as negative, and you're adding them together. So since my leading coefficient is 1, I go right ahead and split my variable, which is being x squared. So there's an x here, there's an x there. And the two answers that we got, the two factors that we got here, we're putting into each. So that's -1 here and -8 there. Now it's factored. Okay. All right. Okay. You're getting it? All right, Bobby. Good. All right. Let's try a couple more this way, and then we're going to take a look. All right. Let's try a couple more this way, and then we're going to take a little step up. So let's say we'll go with p squared. We'll go with p squared. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, you guys are still with me. I just won't be able to see on there. Okay, I do regular math, and what happens? I get booted out of my own life. Crazy. Okay, all right. All right, so you guys, all right, you guys are still here. That's all I need. That's all I need to know. All right, so my A will be what's in front of the P squared. My B is what's in front of the P, and the C is my constant. Okay, so my A is going to be 1. My B will be 17. My C will be 72. Okay, so now I'm going to draw my cross. It doesn't have to be a huge cross. Just enough for you to make room for your AC and rewrite your B. All right. So now, multiply our A and our C, we get 72. Rewrite our B, which is 17. And then we need to think, what two numbers multiplied together will give me 72 and add together will give me 17? Okay, so Big L saying 9 and 8. I think it says preposterous. Preposterous, I think that's what it is. Okay, saying 9, 8. My capital T saying 9, 8. Rich, saying 26, 11. No. Two numbers multiply. Hey, Janice. Saying 9, 8. Two numbers that multiply to give me 72. And the same two numbers add together to give me 17. Okay. Couple with the 9 and 8s. The 9 and 8s. Okay. All right. Why is B -9, -1? B is just -9. Okay. All right, so let's take a look. All right. So if we use 9 and 8, two numbers multiplied to give me 72, we can use 9 and 8. If I add 9 and 8 together, it will give me 17. So these are two factors that we're looking for. And since our leading coefficient is a 1, that means we can go ahead and split our variable. And our variable this time is a P. And then inside, you're going to write your +9 and your +8. Now, if you switched it and say P plus 8 and then parenthesis P plus 9, that's fine. Because remember, multiplication is commutative. Okay, where's the equals? We're not solving, we're simplifying. Okay, we're not solving, we're simplifying. All right, so where are we now? Right now we are factoring. So if you're taking the GED, if factoring is like one of those 4-point questions, if you're taking the ASVAB, that means you're in the upper 50s and 60s. So you're doing really, that means you're in the upper 50s and 60s. So you're doing really good. Okay, so I just noticed that I was coming, a lot of people, even if you're taking college algebra, I'm noticing a lot of, okay, so I just noticed that I was coming, a lot of people, even if you're taking college algebra, I'm noticing a lot of, let's take a look. I don't know why it keeps wanting to cancel me out, which is weird. All right, one more, and then we're going to step it up. So let's try this one. And I'll even put it in red. So if we have x squared minus 6x minus 27. Okay. So we need to know what our A is, what our B is, what our C is, and then we're going to set up our cross. Okay. All right. Thanks for the follow. Not seeing the work? What do you mean? So Big Al's saying -3 and 9. Nika's saying 9 and 3. Janice is saying -3 and 9. So when we're taking a look, my A was what's in front of the x squared, that's a 1. My B is what's in front of the x, so that's a -6. And my C is the constant, which is a -27. Multiply your A and your C, you will get a -27. Rewrite your B, put it underneath, that would be a -6. All right. Well, thank you, Satan. All right. So we have to think. What two numbers multiplied together will give me a -27 and add together to give me a -6? So a lot of you guys are saying -3 and 9. I see a 9 and 3. Okay. Hey, Jason, saying negative. Okay. Hey, Jason, saying -3 and 9. All right. Because if I do -9 and a +3, -9 times 3 gives me a -27. And then -9 plus 3 will give me a -6. So these two are my factors that I'm dealing with. So that means I'm going to split my two variables up, which are my x's. And in one parenthesis is going to be a -9. And the other parenthesis is a +3. And again, if you switch it, that's perfectly fine. Okay. Good evening. How are you? All right. Okay. How are we feeling? Okay. Once you get used to the rules, once you get used to the pattern, and also knowing your multiplication tables, there is no escaping from it. And especially, you probably were able to get away with it for so long, but now if you're trying to go into the military, if you're trying to get your GED, if you're trying to go back to school and you need to pass the acuplacer, or if you're trying to become a teacher and take the Praxis, those are the latest things I've been dealing with, we have to know that multiplication table. Okay, we have to know that. We have to know our perfect squares and our perfect cubes. Squares, we should know up to like 12 or 15. Cubes, if you can get it up to like 5, that's pretty decent. Okay, but we still need to try to identify with those. It will make life so much easier, especially as you're progressing further. Okay, yes, it is quadratic. Okay, what we're doing is we're just factoring. Okay. All right. So with this, this is when your A, your leading coefficient, was 1. Now we're going to take a look when it's not 1. Okay, so let me switch it over. So any and every time, always ask yourself, do you have a GCF? All right, so I'm looking at this. We're saying 4x squared plus 3x minus 7. Okay, so I'm going to try to enlarge it. If you want to watch me first, do so. Okay, and I will pause so you can copy down, or if you have to take like a screenshot of it, that's fine. I'd rather you watch the movement and then try to absorb. Okay, don't try to absorb while you're seeing it. It's too much. Okay, you did completing the square. All right, good. All right, so now still figuring out our A, our B, and our C. Okay, so that hasn't changed. My A is the coefficient in front of the x squared, so that's 4. My B is the 3, because that's the coefficient in front of the x. And my C is the constant, which is a negative 7. Okay. So now we're doing with our cross. Still multiplying our A and our C, but this time we have a number for A. It's not 1, it's 4 this time. So we need to multiply my A and my C. So 4 times negative 7, that gives me a negative 28. All right, and my B is going to be 3. Good. Thanks, Janice. All right. So this is what's happening. Thank you for the rose, Belle. So we're doing exactly the same thing that we did earlier. We want to know what two numbers multiplied together will give me a negative 28 and add together to give me 3. So we got to think of our numbers. That gives us 28. Okay, 7 and what? Okay, 7 and negative 4. Okay, 6 and 3 will give us 18, so we need negative 28. And T is saying 7 and negative 4. Okay, Big Al is saying 7 and negative 4. If I do 7 times 4, that gives me 28. If I do 7 times 4, that gives me 28, but I need a negative. In order for me to figure out which one's going to be negative, I need a negative. In order for me to figure out which one's going to be negative, I need to know if I add these two together, which one's going to give me a positive 3. Well, that means my 7 has to be larger and positive. So if I make 4 negative, 7 times negative 4 gives me negative 28. And 7 plus negative 4 gives me 3. So now that we have that, I've learned something that will make things a lot easier. So, you know how we have our two parentheses? And we normally just take the variable, put an x here, put an x here. Have the 7 go here, so that'll be positive 7. Have the negative 4 go here, so we do a minus 4. But since my A is not equal to 1, what I'm going to do, now this is what's different. You guys getting the exclusive. Well, it's different for me. Maybe for others, it's like, oh, we've been doing that. You're going to divide both of the factors that we just found by your A. Now my A value is 4, so I'm going to put a 4 here, and I'm going to put a 4 here. Okay? Watch this part. Don't do anything. Just watch. Put your pencils and pens, whatever you got, put them down. Just watch this part. So, 7 and 4 cannot be reduced because the only numbers that they have in common is 1. All right, I'm going to the second parenthesis. -4 and 4, well, they have 4 in common. -4 divided by 4 will give me a -1. 4 divided by 4 will give me a 1. Okay, I was able to reduce the -4 over 4. So now this is the last part. You see your denominator that you have? That's going to slide in front of the x. Like this 1, it's going to slide in front of your x. So your answer is simply going to be this. We don't have to like reduce both fractions and all that stuff. You're going to have your 4's in front of that x, so it's going to be 4x plus the number that's here, which is 7. Okay. The second parenthesis, it's a 1 that's going to be with the x. Well, I don't have to put the 1 because x, the 1 is understood, minus the reduced 1. This is your answer. I think the teacher called it a reduce and slide. Why divide by 4? Because my A has to be considered when you're reducing. I forgot who said that. Walker. Okay? So the 4 has to be calculated because if I tried to do distributive property to get back to this original question, right? This original answer. If I just keep it as x times x, that'll give me x squared. But I need a 4 to come back. But if the 4 is not coming back, that means I need to divide it. So 4x times x gives me 4x squared. That's what we're looking for. Okay? So you have to divide it by whatever your A value is so you can complete the fractures. Yeah, I'm going to. Can I just put 2 in front? No, because the 2 is not, who asked that? I think it's Gonzalez. You can't just put the 2 before each parentheses because the 2 is not the greatest common factor. Because 4, 3, and 7, they don't have 2 in common. So I can't just simply put a 2 out there. Okay. Yep, going to do that. Yep, of course I'm Pyro. I'm going to do another one. Okay. Do I do anything with the exponents? No, because x squared, that's taken care of when I split my x's. Because x times x gives me that x squared. So the exponent's already taken care of. Okay, all right, relax your minds. Relax your minds. We're going to do another one. All right? Because remember, most of you guys probably have never seen that before. So you're freaking out because you're seeing something new and different. And guess what? We as human beings don't like change. But guess what? That's how you stay stuck. And that's how people want you to stay stuck. So we need to unstuck ourselves. All right? Taking it step by step. Okay? Don't give up because you're only giving up on yourself. I'm going to still keep going. All right? So we got this. All right? So, first thing, let's go. Tell me what my A is, what my B is, and what my C is. Okay, so let's start there. So put it in the chat. What's my A, my B, and my C? Okay, what's my A, my B, and my C? You could just list them. You don't have to say A, B, C, but list it in order. Okay. So I was saying 3, 4, 3, negative 4, negative 4. 3, negative 4, negative 4. A is 4. No, A is not 4. A is always right in front of the x squared. So make sure you get that, Janice. So we got 3. Don't forget the signage, everyone. The ones that says 3, 4, 4. Okay, make sure it's 3, negative 4, negative 4. Okay, don't think of them as operations. Think of them as signs. I think that makes it so much easier because you guys think of it as operations. That's how it's easily confusing. Okay, think of them as signs. All right, no problem. All right. So, thanks for checking in. Hey, Lynette. All right. So, we have our 3, we have our negative 4, we have our negative 4. So now we're going with our cross. Okay. Multiply our A and our C. Rewrite our B. So if you got your A is 3, you got your C is negative 4. So 3 times negative 4 will give me what? Put that in the chat. Okay. Multiply your A and your C. So 3 times negative 4. Good. We got our negative 12s. We got our negative 12s. Okay, Darlene, don't forget your signage. There we go. Abby, Big Al. There we go. Niche. Yes. No Ming. There we go. Janice. Good. When the signs are opposite, your answer is always going to be negative when it comes to multiplication. So we're going to rewrite our B, which is a negative 4. Okay. So now we need to think. What two numbers multiplied together will give me a negative 12 and add together to give me a negative 4? This is probably the hardest part. Okay. So Star is giving me negative 6 and 2. Okay, Neek, you're giving me 2 and negative 6. Ira, I think you're giving me 2, 6 and something. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thanks for that. There you go. All right, so negative 6 and 2. Nikki's giving me negative 6 and negative 2. We got negative 6 and positive 2. We got A with negative 6 and 2. Okay, Gigi's was the 6 and negative 2. Big Al say negative 6 and positive 2. So, we definitely know that is 6 and 2. One of them has to be negative. If I make the 2 negative, that means I have 6 plus negative 2. That'll give me a negative 4. Yeah, that's not going to work. I mean, it's going to be actually a positive 4. We want a negative 4. So we want the 6 to be negative. Negative 6 times positive 2 gives me a negative 12. Will give me a negative 4. So these are the factors that we're going to work with. And if I put them in their own parenthesis, okay, this is when everybody's like, wait, something's gone left. We're using the variable that we have. Since this has an x squared, we're going to split the x's. The variables that we found, we're going to fill in with the parentheses. But since our leading coefficient is not 1, that can't be my answer. We have to divide this by my A. And my A is 3. So I'm going to divide the 6 by 3. I'm going to divide the 2 by 3. Okay, so whatever I do on one parenthesis, I'm going to do on the other. Okay. So now, look at your two fractions. You have a negative 6 over 3, and you have a 2 over 3. So negative 6 over 3, that can be reduced. But reduced by what? There we go, Big Al. Okay. So we're just looking at the negative 6 divided by 3. Yes, it can be reduced by 3. So negative 6 divided by 3, this cancels out and it gives me a negative 2. 3 divided by 3, this 3 cancels out and now it's a 1. Okay? So you basically have an x minus 2 that's happening in that first parenthesis. Okay? Good vanilla cupcake. Yup, divide and slide. That's exactly what we're doing. All right? Now, the second parenthesis, we have 2/3. We have 2 over 3. The only thing that 2 and 3 has in common is what? Good, Big Al. There you go, Neek. Okay. Karen, yes. Austin, yes. MBA, yes. The only thing that 2 and 3 has in common is a 1. So that means this 2/3, it's already at its lowest term. There you go, guys. All right. So that means we can't simplify this anymore. So what we do is we take the numbers that's in the denominators, because we don't need a fraction. These numbers are actually now going to be the coefficients of the x. So the 1's going to come in front of the x, and the 3 is going to come in front of the x. Okay. So if I rewrite this, yes, I could put a 1 in front of the x, but it's already understood to be there. So that means I can say x minus 2, that's that first parenthesis, because the 1 is understood to be there, and we already got the minus 2 from simplifying. Then the second parenthesis, we take the denominator and slide it in front of the x. So we got 3x. Okay, and what's left once this 3 is over here, what's left is that plus 2. Now it's factored. There you go. Nice, Dirty Bird. Can we switch the order of the parentheses? Yes, you can, because multiplication is commutative. Thank you, Lizzie. All right. Thanks for using the stickers. So if you said 3x plus 2 and then x minus 2, that's perfectly fine. Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, so make sure you watch your signs. Okay. How did I get the 3x? So once we, let me see if I can grab this for a second. One second. Okay. So let me hide this part. So now you can just focus just on this. So once we couldn't reduce to 2/3 because the only number they had in common is 1. So then you're going to take that denominator, that 3, and you're going to slide it in front of the x, making it the leading coefficient of this parenthesis. So once that 3 comes up here, you'll get your 3x, And what remained behind once the 3 slid up was your plus 2. So you just rewrote plus 2. Okay, for the first one. For the first one, yeah, because once you reduced the negative 6 over 3, you got negative 2. You could probably move a 1 in front. That's perfectly fine, but it's not necessary. Because once you see a variable of x, it's understood that there's a 1 in front of it, as well as a degree of 1. So that means you just got your x minus 2, and then you worked on the other one. Okay. Why wouldn't it be plus 6? How? Oh, you're not multiplying these two. You're not multiplying them. Okay, so actually, I'm not sure when you came in. So let me use another one so we all can be somewhat on the same page. All right. So, okay. So we have 5n squared minus 4n minus 20. Okay. All right. So going through it step by step. Okay, so for those that are coming in, what we're doing is we are factoring, especially when our leading coefficient, our a, is not 1. And we're working on the reduce and slide. Okay. So first things first, anytime they talk about factoring, we always see if we do have a GCF. So I have 5, I have 4, I have 20. Okay. The only thing that all three of these have in common is 1. I know that 5 times 4 multiplies together will give me 20. But that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking what they have in common, not because they're multiplying together. Do I see a 4 in the 5 times table? No. Okay, do I see a 20 in the 5 times table? Yes. Do I see a 5 in the 4 times table? No. Do I see a 20 in the 4 times table? Yes. Okay, do I see a 5 in the 20 times table? Nope. Do I see a 4 in the 20 times table? Nope. Okay, the only thing they all have in common is 1. So now let's list our A, our B, and our C. The A is what's in front of the n squared, so that's 5. The B is what's in front of the n, so that's negative 4. And the C is my constant, that's negative 20. Okay. Okay. Okay, both the 4 and the 20 is negative. Okay, so we got 5, negative 4, and negative 20. All right, so John, we just did our first step. We list our A, our B, and our C. So now, the next step, we're drawing our cross. What's going to go up in this section is when you multiply your A and your C that we just listed. What goes down in this section is our B. So AC will give me what? There you go, Neek. All right. All right. Okay. So we have our 5 times negative 20. That gives us a negative 100. So then we have our b, which we have written, -4. Okay, so this is like Algebra 1, Algebra 2. I'm seeing it a lot in Algebra 2 right now. All right. Okay. Now, Fiona, you might see it in 10th, but I do have some people taking Algebra 2 in 8th grade. So that's why I can't really say great. Okay. Yeah, so that's why. Hey, Michael. All right. So, what two numbers multiplied together can give me a -100 and add together to give me a -4? Okay. So the point of the cross is to help us organize our thoughts to figure out what two numbers multiplied together will give me a -100 and add together to give me a -4. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. You see it, Janice? There you go. I was waiting. Okay. All right, Fiona. All right. Let people figure it out. That's how we all have to figure things out. Because you're not going to be around with us when we're taking the test. Okay? Okay? This is the easiest way. All right? Okay? It's not an equation because we don't have an equal sign. It's an expression. Can you use decimal numbers? No, you cannot. Only whole numbers. Okay? Yep. So you're thinking, Nikki, because -5 times 2 does give me -100. I mean, no, -50 times 2. But does -50 plus 2 give me -4? Okay. All right. So you're saying quadratic formula? Okay. All right. Why is that? Okay. Because we're getting people thinking. It's not so much it's hard, because you're thinking, you're processing. Okay, I don't want to take this away from you. Okay. So, and then on top of it, we have to work on patience. That's the only way you're going to get through this. Okay. Okay. So, we can go through as many products to get us 100. Obviously, 1 and 100 is not going to work. Obviously, 2 and 50, we just saw that doesn't work. Okay, 4 and 25, that's not going to work because we need something to add together to give me that -4. So if you can't, and you can't do it with this AC method, that means we got to shoot over to the quadratic formula. Now, for those that are not familiar with the quadratic formula, because this happens, okay? Everything is not just going to be handed to us. Our little bits of entitlement needs to be checked once in a while. That's why with math we do these things. So we have our -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Now here's my suggestion. If you're trying to break this down and you notice you can't after you've tried multiple ways, take a look at your answer choice. Maybe one of your answers will be like not factorable, Okay, so that's a possibility. But I'm going to show you why. So we're going to use these same numbers to plug in for the A, B, and C in this quadratic formula. So we are only substituting in for the A, B, and C, not for their signs. Okay. So we're just filling in the spots. So our B was a -4. So we got -4 in these spots. Our A was a 5. It goes in these two spots. And our C was a -20. So we have a negative times a negative. That gives me a positive. Got my plus minus. Now, -4 squared. -4 squared is not -8. -4 squared means -4 times -4, which gives me a 16. Then over here, we have a -4 times 5. That gives me a -20. And a -20 times a -20, that will give me a positive 400. So in my denominator, I have 2 times 5, which gives me 10. Okay. Okay, where did the 100 go? Because now we're doing AC methods. So we're looking at our A, or B, and our C. Not AC method, sorry, quadratic formula. Okay, so we're taking this information and we're plugging it in to this equation. You can use the same A, B, and C. So now we bring down our 4, plus or minus 16 plus 400. So 16 plus 400, that gives me 416 over 10. Now 416, that is definitely not a perfect square root. But let's see if we can get a square root out of it. I think you can get 4 out of it. But let me see if you can get 16 or 36. You can get 16 out of it. I think that might be your best bet. Yeah, 36 would be a decimal. So if I may, 1 second. TikTok has to come up with a better solution for verification. Because this sliding thing's a pain in the neck. Anyway. So, square root of 416 can be broken down. Since it's an even number, I tried to fix up with my evens. And I know if I did 16, I would get 26 as a result. Now 26, that's going to be, or 1626, that's going to be our perfect prime combination. Okay, so 16, the square root of 16, that gives me 4. Square root of 26, prime, can't do it. So that means I have 4 plus or minus 4, the square root of 26, over 10. So what happens? I'm taking a look at the whole numbers. 4, 4, and 10. They all have 2 in common. It can't be 4 because I can't break down 10 evenly with 4. So since they all 3 spots have 2 in common, I'm going to reduce it. 4 divided by 2 gives me 2. Same with this 2. And 10 divided by 2 gives me my 5. So, to find one of my lovely little x's, or actually both of them, I have 2 plus or minus 2 square root of 26 over 5. And because we have that plus minus, that's representing my 2 answers. And you're probably saying, well, it didn't give us a nice even answer. Of course not. Because everything in life is not always smooth as gravy. Well, the gravy I use. So 16 times 26 gives us our 4/16. That's where the 16 and 26 came from. Okay. So 16 times 26 will give me my 4/16. And the 16 is a perfect, whereas the square root of 26 is prime. Okay. And the 16 is a perfect, whereas the square root of 26 is prime. Okay, can't break it down. It'll just give me 2 prime numbers if I try to break it down. And I can't break it down any further. So square root of 16 is 4, and I'm keeping the square root of 26. Okay. Okay, so for my period person, if you have standard form, so that's the part that you missed in the beginning. So we have ax squared plus bx plus c. Your a is always the coefficient of the x squared, the b is always the coefficient of the x, and the c is the constant. Okay, you don't have to do all that for you. Okay. All right. All right. Let's try one more so I can get my stuff together. Let's see. Let's see if this one works. So we have 3x squared minus 17x. I don't think I did that one. Hold on. Okay, good. I thought I was like repeating myself. That's the worst. Plus 20. Okay. First thing, we need our A, we need our B, we need our C. Okay. Yes. So if you don't see a number in front of the as a coefficient, it's assumed to be a 1. Okay. Here we go. Just missed one number, Big Al. Oh, you're welcome. So you have your 3, you have your negative 17, and you have your 20. Okay, there we go. All right, there you go, Bobby. Just have to knock the dust off once in a while. All right, so now we got our x. So we have our AC, and we rewrite our B. So we need to multiply my A and my C. So that's 3 times 20. That gives me 60. And we rewrite our B, which was negative 17. So now, toughest thing. There we go. What two numbers multiply? Let's see if I can put that. I don't know where my red pen went, but here we are. So what two numbers multiply to give me 60 and add to give me negative 17? What are two numbers? Multiply to give me 60, add together to give me negative 17. Okay. So Nini, negative 20 and 3, if you multiply it, will give you a negative 60. We want a positive 60, but you're thinking. Big Al is saying 12 and 5. Okay, we have 3 and negative 20. Remember, we want a positive 60 and a negative 17. Okay, you see it now? Right, there you go, hit. So we have negative 5 and negative 12. Okay, so if we have our 12 and 5, if I multiply 12 and 5, it will give me positive 60. But if I add 12 and 5, it will give me a positive 17. So that's why I need to make both of these negative. So negative 12 times negative 5 will give me a positive 60. And negative 12 plus negative 5 will give me my negative 17. So we're good to go. So this is when the reduce and slide is going to kick in. So what we're going to do, set up our two parentheses. Our variable is an x, and since it says x squared, I'm putting 1x in one parenthesis, 1x in the other. And the two factors that we found, which is that negative 12 is going to go to 1, and negative 5 is going to go to the other. But since our leading coefficient is 3, we have to divide the two factors that we found by that leading coefficient. So let's take a look. So we're going to ignore all of this, and we're going to focus on this. So now, negative 12 divided by 3. What would this give us? There we go, Big Al. There you go, Nisa. Good. For your eyes only. Good. Good. Buttercup, don't forget the sign. Nini, don't forget the sign. Good. Good. There we are. So that means we're going to cancel all this out. I think this will be a lot easier for you guys. Cancel all this out and put the 4 here. Okay. So the only thing you have to worry about over here is a parenthesis, x minus 4. I think that will be a little less confusing. Do you agree or disagree? Do you agree that if I just cancel everything out and just make it a 4 because I just divide that, does that make it a little easier? Okay, agreed? Okay. Agreed? Okay. That's all I needed. All right. Awesome. Okay. So now, much easier. Okay. All right, so now we got that parenthesis done. So I'm going to cover And we're going to focus on this one. So now we have x minus 5/3. Well, does 5/3 divide evenly? It doesn't give me a whole number. It's going to give me a decimal. We don't want that. So since we can't reduce it, we're going to take this 3 and we're going to slide it to be the coefficient of that x. So it's going to look like this. It's going to look like 3x. So if this 3 slides up to where the x is, what's left? There you go, Big Al. There you go, Nisa. Good. All right. Okay. So what's left is that minus 5. There we go. So let's bring that minus 5 down. Okay. Now, ignore all that. This is your answer. See? Took a couple examples just to feel a little bit at ease. Okay? A little better? Okay, you got that one, Bobby? Yes. Can you multiply 3 and 20? Yes. And a equals 1? No. If you're going to multiply 3 and 20, that's your AC, and rewrite your B, which is negative 17. Okay, getting it now? Okay, you want to do one more before I pass out? Just to kind of solidify our understanding a bit? Yes? Okay. All right. Okay. Will do. Let's see if I can find one that, I don't know, actually works. Let's see. Let's see. Plus, I want to make sure I'm not redoing any of them. Did we do 6p? No, we didn't. Okay. All right, so let's try this one. Sorry about the flipping. I was like, sometimes you just like, did I do that one? And I seriously don't know where my red pen, oh, here it is. I was like, where did my red pen go? I'm just losing everything. All right, so let's try this. Let's see if we got, so 6p squared plus 11p minus 7. Okay, so 6p squared plus 11p minus 7. What do we say to a child who wants to know how to use the answer in a situation? What do you mean, like real world application with it? Well, with the practicum, I can't think off the top of my head, to be honest with you. Why isn't there equals on this? Because we're not solving. It's not an equation. All we're doing is factoring. We're just simplifying. All right, Sai. Thank you. So we have our A is 6. Our B is 11. And our C is negative 7. Okay. All right. Do I offer tutoring for GED math? Yes, I do. I charge $77 for an hour. Yes, for 1 hour. Because I normally charge $92 for my general studies. So, I'm expensive, but I'm worth every penny. So if you're serious about it, let me know. And if you're taking Praxis, let me know because I just got a young lady that passed her Praxis. We did, what, 4? No, because I just got a young lady that passed her Praxis. We did, what, 4 sessions? I'm just saying. All right, so we have AC. Rewrite our B. So multiply your A and your C. That gives us negative 42. Rewrite our B, which is a positive 11. No, not in Elena. Okay, just go ahead and message me, Juanita. Alright. Okay. So, what two numbers multiplied together will give me a negative 42 and add together to give me 11? Thanks, Lynette. What is this called? It's called factoring. This is called being a good audience. You're welcome. All right. So B is saying 3 and 14. Okay. So we got 3 and 14. I want to say hef. Okay. All right. Okay. So candy 4 times 11, that'll give me 44. I want to get negative 42. There we go. All right. So negative 3 and 14. Okay, negative 14 and 3. All right. So I'm in agreement with the 14 and the 3. Which one has to be negative? Because 14 times 3 does give me a 42, but one of them has to be negative. So Nini's saying the 3 is going to be negative. Big Al's saying the 3 is going to be negative. Is that the same? It is, but you have to set things equal to 0. Okay, so it is going to be the 3. Good. So the 3 is going to be negative. So that means these are our factors. So we're going right into splitting our variables, which our variable is a p. So we got a p here and a p here. And we're writing the factors that we found. Plus 14 minus 3. If you wrote the minus 3 first and then the plus 14, that's fine. Because remember, multiplication is interchangeable. But since my leading coefficient is not 1, it's a 6, that's what I'm going to use to divide both sides. Okay. Yes. Okay. Oh, thanks for the boo. Thanks, boo. All right. So now, let's cover this. And let's cover this. So we can focus on one parenthesis at a time. Because I feel that that helps too. So, 14 and 6. Well, if I just straight divide it, it's going to give me a decimal. So can it be simplified? And simplified by what? Okay, Sai is saying 2. Neek is saying 2. Agree with that. So, good, Big Al 2. Nini 2. Good. By 2. Good, Danielle. So if I reduce this by 2, that means 14 divided by 2. This is now a 7. 6 divided by 2 is now a 3. So we did not get an even number, but this 3 that's down there, this is what we're going to move as the coefficient for P. This is what we're going to move as the coefficient for P. So what do you think? If the 3 is supposed to come up, sorry, TikTok just booted me out for a second. Okay, grouping only comes when you have 4 terms. So we only have 3. Okay. All right. So since this 3 is going to go and slide up in front of the P, that means this parenthesis is going to be 3P. And once we brought that 3 up to the P, what's left? Our plus 7. So we write plus 7. No, it's not. It's not. And it's been doing it this whole entire life. So I'm sorry that I'm feeling a little somber. I'm trying not to curse. This is me suppressing anger. So it's not you. It's craziness. Okay. There we go. So the 3 comes in front of the P. So you got 3P. What's left was your plus 7. So that comes down. So now let's look at the second parenthesis. We have P minus 3 over 6. 3/6 can be reduced to what? Yes, we want to reduce it by 3. I know, right? It's called I'm working on 2 hours of sleep right now. So, but don't worry. I'll be getting there. So, negative 3, or this 3, divided by 3 will give me a 1. And this 6 divided by 3 will give me a 2. So that means this 2, after we reduce it, we're going to slide it up in front of the P. So when we do that, that means the 2 is in front of the P. So when the 2's in front of the P, what's left? There we go. There you go, Big Al. There we go, Fritz. There we are, Danielle. There it is. We just bring down that minus 1. Okay. So this time, both of the parentheses needed to be reduced. So once you reduce it, then you slide. Whatever is that bottom number, it's going to slide to be the coefficient of your variable. It's going to slide to be the coefficient of your variable. Okay? It's just like when you were trying to learn the where the fans at dance. It's just like when you're trying to learn any kind of dance, any kind of movement, any kind of song. You have to listen to the song multiple times. Even when you think you know the song inside and out, then one day you actually see a list of the words. You're like, oh, that's what they were saying? Oh, good God. I was 53 years old, days old when I heard this. Okay. All right. So there are multiple ways of doing this, but this is the one way I was going to teach for tonight. All right. So that is factoring when your A is 1 and when your A is not 1. Okay. Okay. Well, you can do that to check to see if it works. There you go. At what point do we use the quadratic formula? If you can't, like say after you got your X and you couldn't get 2 factors, that's when you do the quadratic formula. Because if you can't get 2 numbers that multiply to give you up here and add down here to give you that, that's when I would do the quadratic formula. Okay. My voice makes you understand. It's the suppression of anger. No, it's called the lack of sleep. Okay, not a problem, Nini. I'm sorry, guys. There was a lot of lagging. There was a lot of craziness. But hopefully they'll get everything together. But as I usually mention, just as a wrap up, I know I'm on my next book, but I think Audrey's notes is going to come to a close. Well, book 6 is already out, but here we go. If you came a little late, don't worry, don't fret, don't stress, don't strive. You can actually go here. Okay, give me some time. See if I can download this lovely thing. You can go here, and then I would love for you to subscribe. It's a free subscription, okay? But there is a playlist that says TikTok Lives. So you can see all of my TikTok Lives from February the 2nd. I know, I can't believe it'll almost be a year that I've been doing a lot of these. Sometimes I do a combination of stuff that's going to help with the HESI test or the TEAS test, the GED, the Accuplacer. I try to find some release questions. Sometimes I'll purchase books. Sometimes I'll just look up and see what's available, or I might actually talk to a recruiter, and whatever I can pull my hand on, I usually show and display. But what I was trying to do for tonight is I noticed a lot of people were asking me about factoring. And it was always about when A equaled 1 and when A didn't equal 1. Everyone seemed pretty good with the grouping. Everyone felt pretty good with the GCF. But it was just this type of factoring that was troublesome. So that's why I decided to do a video on it or a live on it today. Do I do SAT? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Okay. Look at British methods from factoring. Dude, there's too many freaking methods. Like, just factor the freaking thing. It's math all over. Like, everyone has their methods. Everyone has their sequences. If anything, if you look at some of the videos, you'll see. If you type in factoring, there's a lot of different ways. I never do it the same way twice, basically. So sometimes it may be some things that might help. It might be some things that'll help maybe homeschool parents. It may be some GEDs. I'm hearing some people have been watching my videos and been able to take the GED and pass the VESA thing. Because not only do I talk about just the basic concepts, but I also go through like how to narrow down your answer, aka process of elimination, PO. How to use PO to break all those things down. Okay. Now, if you want, I do private tutoring. As I say, it's $77. It is going to be a commitment. Especially, I know it's really hard, especially people that are going into nursing. and you're currently in the field, it's hard for you to have a schedule. I'm not going to sit here and lie. It's hard for you to have a schedule. One minute you think you're free all day. Next minute they're calling you in. And you're like, well, shoot, I need the money, right? So you're going to go where the money is. So, but I do have courses that are self-paced. So if you ever need to break down concepts, but if you ever want to put together a small group, you know a whole bunch of people that are taking the test and you just need some assistance, I definitely have group rates. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So give us some assignments. Sure. Hire me as your tutor. And that's exactly what I would do. So there's a lot of free stuff that you guys are getting, because normally for my tutoring sessions, I charge $92. And yes, people do pay me because I'm worth that. So when it comes down to, if you have any questions about that, there is a Service Plus button. If you want to contact me, you can go there, or you could just direct message me. Now, when you direct message me, don't just say hi and that's it. I'm going to delete it. You can test me all you want. That's what I'm going to do. So please tell me what exactly you need so I can make sure I give you the assistance that you need. Maybe you need a tutor for someone that's younger. Okay, I do 7th grade all the way up to adults. So if you need anyone younger, I have plenty of other friends that tutor as well. But still, put the message in. Send out your inquiries. Okay. All right. Where to find the books and cheat sheets. So for my notebooks, you can either go here or you can go to the big A. Okay, the A is the brown box with the smiley face. It's a rainforest, but you buy, I don't know, chopsticks with it. I don't know what you guys buy there. All I know is like a lot of you guys are obsessed with it. But I also have my books on sale there. But if you want, you can come here to get your books. It usually takes like a week for it to be all productive and everything. And if you want, this is what the math notebook looks like. And you just saw an example of it. So we just put like a whole bunch of notes on one side and also notes on the other side, giving you a section to put your formulas and also your steps that you need. And then if you have a whole bunch of blank space, but in the very back, and this is one for Algebra 2 and Calculus, I have a factor sheet. So if, remember, we were trying to find factors of certain numbers. I forgot what the last one was. The last one was, what was the last one? 42. So like if I went up to 42, okay, so here I go with 42, and I got 1 and 42, 2 and 21, 3 and 14, and 6 and 7. So boom. This is the one that worked for that time. We just had to play around with the minus and the plus numbers. All right. So then here we go. You have your squares, your square roots, your cubes, and your cube roots. You have your complex numbers, also fraction operations, conversion charts, okay, rules of integers, okay, order of operation and exponents, as well as the linear and the quadratic formulas that we have all listed, the inequalities and the interval notation. That is big and popular now. Arithmetic and geometric sequencing. We also did the acceleration, velocity, the rules of that. But this one has the conic sections as well as the unit circles. So all of my students that are doing Algebra 2 into pre-calc, you're going to be getting to know that sometime soon. Then you have your trig identities, and then Pascal's triangle, and a couple other things as well, especially for your Pythagorean theorem and trig functions, then sine and cosine. So all of this is listed here. If you're interested in purchasing one, I have this for Algebra 2 and pre-calculus. I have another one for Algebra 1 and whatever you're looking for. All right. Oh, thanks. All right. Hey, Andy, how are you? So, can you quit math while I'm at what? I can't say anything. It's a box. Okay. Okay. All right. So if you need anything, go ahead and message me. All right. Let me know what you need. If it's tutoring, if you want to get the links for the books, or if you want just the link for the replays, just give me maybe a couple hours to upload all this stuff. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for your time and attention and pushing for likes and everything. But right now, TikTok is just not on my side. All right. So have a lovely evening. I will see you guys tomorrow. And jam-packed tomorrow night. I don't know what's going on from basically 4:30 and jam-packed tomorrow night. I don't know what's going on from basically 4:30. Okay, guys, thank you so much and have a lovely evening. Take care. Ooh, sorry.